Hello everyone, and welcome back at today's analysis. Now for the 46th episode I'm going to analyze none other than Ego, the main antagonist of the 2016 MCU film, Guardians of the Galaxy, Volume 2, and overall, the main antagonist of the Guardians of the Galaxy trilogy of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. A primordial Celestials. Absolutely none of his children had the Celestial gene, and Ego mercilessly slaughtered all of them and hid their bones into a cave on Ego's planet. Eventually, by the late 1970s, he officially arrived on Earth in order to make it the next target, but he then fell in love with the one person that changed everything in his life, Meredith Quayle, as he came on Earth 3 times to visit her, and ultimately got her pregnant with Peter Quayle, who he was born in 1980, the first and the only child of him that he had inherited his celestial gene. And of course, he hired Yondu Donta to retrieve Peter and many other children. However, when Yondu found out the fate of the other children, he remained completely filled with remorse. And by 1988, when Peter's turn came, Yondu decided to keep Peter and to raise him as his own son in order to save him from Ego. And Ego, upon being betrayed by Yondu, officially spent nearly 30 years searching for Peter across the universe. But eventually, in August 2014, when he found out about a human on Earth who's Xander, and by holding an Infinity Stone on his hands without dying, Ego must have realized that that human is in fact the son he had with Meredith, Peter Quill, and thus he eventually managed to save him, and as well as the rest of the Guardians of the Galaxy from the Sovereign Fleet. And he introduced himself to Peter as his biological father, and managed to take him and a part of the Guardians to his planet, well, technically to himself, Ego's planet. He told them his origins and how he met Meredith and got Peter, and of course, the fact that he sent Yondo to retrieve him. Of course, Peter at first refused to believe it, and then became angry to why Ego abandoned them to begin with, as well as the fact that why he sent Yondo to retrieve Peter. Ego always claimed that he loved Meredith, and didn't wanted to live on a planet where she died. And after he realized that Peter did inherit his celestial power and helped him to master it, they eventually bonded over with each other for a short while. But of course, he eventually revealed his true colors to Peter, as well as his true omniscient plan, and what happened to the other children, as well as the fact that Gamora and Nebula discovered the same thing about the said children. But now, before I go any further, we all should stop and ask ourselves, is Ego evil? The reason why I'm asking this is while it's undeniable that all his actions and plans are absolutely evil, he eventually could be considered by some as a tragic character. First of all is the fact that his evil stems from the fact that he spent millions of years in absolute loneliness, and why he managed to get himself almost to the universe. He was disappointed to find only mortals that he knew they are going to die anyway. However, technically speaking, Ego was never truly alone, and there are other immortal beings throughout the MCU that share his immortality. Not to mention that in the 2021 film The Eternals proved that there are other Celestials across the universe, and thus Ego, technically speaking, was never alone, thus making this motive for evil absolutely null. Another reason here is the fact that he might have genuinely loved Meredith Quill, and the reason he didn't came back for her a fourth time is the fact that he knew that he will never come back. However, he doesn't seem to care really about her, but only about what she gave to him, Peter, as Ego himself doesn't care about Peter, but only about his power and potential that he has to his plans. Not to mention that he's revealed that he put a tumor that killed Meredith in her head, thus killing her himself, and thus dropping the ball on having a happy life. Ultimately, Ego is nothing more but a pure evil madman who genuinely cares for no one but himself. And the fact that he views all the other life forms as inferior further proves to you his immense God complex. And at the end of the day, the answer is definitely yes. Ego is evil. He is nothing short of pure evil. And in the end, he was stopped and defeated by the Guardians of the Galaxy, who ultimately managed to blow up his core and end his threat once and for all. And Mantis, his daughter, joined the Guardians of the Galaxy, while Yondu sacrificed himself in order to save Peter, thus making Peter to realize that Yondu was the father that he always wanted. So in the end, who was Ego? He was nothing more but an omnicidal maniac who cared for nothing more but to spread himself across everywhere. A monster that, despite the fact he suffered from loneliness, when this excuse won't justify the atrocities that he will commit. A monster that could easily be called as one of the most evil villains ever made in cinematic history. Thank you all for watching this new episode in today's analysis. I hope everybody enjoyed. Please don't forget to give a like and subscribe everyone, and have a nice day.
In the hell do you think you are?